Cannabis psychosis turns into schizophrenia or bipolar almost half the time. I said that in one of my groups today.
Gross exaggeration.
In 1994, Denmark started
statistically untrue.
Who came into the hospital with drug-induced psychosis went on the list. 6,788 people. And nobody got treated differently. They just watched them for 20 years. Year 2, some came back with schizophrenia. Year 5,
I'm familiar with this study.
Year 9, yeah. Year 15, yep, more. They just kept coming back. Alcohol brought back 22%. Cannabis brought back 47%.
So I'm very familiar with this study. I have to pay attention to the details of the study, which he doesn't mention here.
THC takes the brakes off your dopamine. It floods the striatum, the part that decides what matters. Your brain runs a highlighter over the world. THC hands that highlighter to a stranger. Now the car behind you means something. The text means something. So your brain starts to write a story on why everything went loaded. Oh, but that story is a delusion. So let's just say you got 2 guys. You got the same blood. One of those guys is fine. But guess what? One of those guys is on that list. Daily use, 3 times the odds. Daily high potency, 5 times the odds. One variant of a gene called AKT1 plus daily smoking. And you've got 7 times the odds of the guy who passed the blunt to you. And your uncle's weed from 1995 is like 4% THC. Today, 17. Concentrates run over 50. And the CBD used to buffer that is gone.
That is not true.
Some people who smoke won't get psychosis, but some will. And the risk stacks.
I don't know his intent, but the way the video plays, he takes a particular study, does not give the accurate data points of the study, and then he broad strokes it for an entire population, which makes his information grossly inaccurate. But I get his point, so let's get into it. The title and/or insinuation that weed psychosis turns into schizophrenia 47% of the time is not an accurate representation of scientific evidence. It appears to be a misrepresentation, specific study, substance-induced psychosis, not a statistic about all people who experience weed psychosis or all cannabis users. The 47% figure is likely derived from a Danish National Registry study, the Marser MSK Nordentalk, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And the study was named Rates and Predictors of Conversion to Schizophrenia or Bipolar Disorder Following Substance-Induced Psychosis. And that's from the American Journal of Psychiatry, where researchers followed 6,788 people diagnosed with substance-induced psychosis and found that cannabis-induced psychosis had the highest conversion rate. And that conversion rate was about 47.4% of the people with cannabis-induced psychosis later developed either schizophrenia spectrum disorder or bipolar disorder. Now remember, this was a study about substance-induced schizophrenia. Now, it's an important distinction. Population for this particular study was not cannabis users. It was people already diagnosed with cannabis-induced psychosis, a severe psychiatric event usually involving hospitalization or clinical diagnosis. So these people were already diagnosed with cannabis psychosis. So it does not mean 47% of cannabis users develop schizophrenia. That is inaccurate. Nor can you say 47% of the people who get paranoid while using cannabis develop schizophrenia. That is inaccurate. Nor can you say 47% of the people who have a bad cannabis experience develop schizophrenia. That would be inaccurate. So his video confuses a high-risk clinical group with the general population. Millions of people use cannabis. The lifetime prevalence of schizophrenia in the general population is less than 1%. Now, that is scientific data from schizophrenia incidence and mortality from the Lancet, right? Now, if cannabis psychosis automatically converted to schizophrenia in nearly half or 47% of the time, population rates of schizophrenia would be a lot higher than the 1%. So for the record, I do not promote cannabis use. It is a natural plant that has medicinal and therapeutic benefits. So if and when there is a situational ailment that can be alleviated with the plant's use, that's when, in my opinion, it's a great option. Study the facts, not the propaganda. Make it a great one.